Hi everybody, welcome to Ortho Implants for Life. I find people in orthopedic industry has dream, but they are often in a dilemma whether to pursue with it or not. This reminds me of the story The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. The Alchemist is a novel written by Paulo Coelho, a Brazilian author. It was initially published in Portuguese in the year 1988 and then later published in English in 1993. It is essentially the journey of an Andalusian boy, Santiago, who wanders the fields as shepherd. He repeatedly has a dream and sums it up to be a prophecy. It is a dream to go see the pyramids of Egypt. Upon meeting several people and going through a journey that leaves most people awestruck, he realizes the power of his dream. Through different characters, he understands better about the dream and how to be closer to it day by day. This is a very important topic to cruise around when we are talking about personal development. Goal setting and perseverance both are the key factors to success. Just as the boy reaches his pyramids by persisting to do so, we ourselves also have the power to do that. In the end, it is an absolute reader's candy and doesn't allow people to stop reading once they have started, and also instills in them values without directly speaking of the matter. This is an amazing ability that Coelho has, with his vivid storytelling and beautiful sense of time. The dream. As the plot begins, all that is significant is a dream. The story starts off in the Andalusian plains. A shepherd and his sheep roam around calmly. Santiago spends time reading books. Most people would not sit in the fact that shepherd boy can read. But he had attended school as well as seminary. He loved to travel and thus left his life as a priest to become a shepherd boy who would wander the beautiful countryside and also be able to see new things and learn them. The most harmless and well-behaved boy leads his sheep ahead and sleeps only to land up in a dream. A dream which he recalls, a dream which he has had several times before. At a passing town, he playfully goes up to a woman who claims to be a fortune teller. He goes on to having his dream interpreted, which leads to the discovery of his personal prophecy, to go see the pyramids of Egypt. His mind still revolving around reaching the merchant's daughter in a day. It all excited him. Santiago often talked to the sheep and in general had a liking towards the herd. He knew every sheep, how they reacted, and also other things like taking care of them from wolves. All of this was first new to him, and the thought that helped him and faster towards the girl he so longed to see and have a conversation with. Suddenly, a man says, "If you give me 1/10 of your flock, I will tell you where the treasure is." At first, it was a distant thought or objective. He just happily shrugged it off for the girl he was all dreamy about. To realize one's destiny is a person's only real obligation. All things are one. The push. The dream is in place and gears of time as well. All it needs now is a little push. Santiago was about to let go of the dream when he met an old man in the plaza. With an unraveling conversation, he asked several questions. The man said he was the king of Salem and that he shall help Santiago reach the treasure. And he also said many other things. He talked about the language of the universe and the soul of the world. Next day, as given by provision, he sold his ship and kept a tenth of it as the old man's fee. The man takes his ship and walks away. Santiago was now filled with a new sense of enthusiasm. Though he wasn't truly believing all this, but his wish to travel and to see was being fulfilled, and he thought that the only thing stopping him is himself. The journey, a path down the lane that we often refer to as destiny. Santiago reaches Tangiers and befriends a man. He naively places his trust on the man and hands him the money he had gathered from selling his own ship. He was duped by the very person who saved his life. The man boated from here and there through the alleys and vanishes with the money. Santiago was now broken. He was sitting in the marketplace where he had lost sight of his so-called friend. Suddenly, a new wave of enthusiasm washes over Santiago, and he decides to turn his fate over. He employs himself at the hands of a considerate man at a crystal shop. The man takes certain liking to Santiago and nurtures the lesson of life. The man slowly enabled him to move ahead, to chase his dream like he himself always wanted. Each day Santiago would come up with newer ideas, and soon that financially crippled shop became an attraction. The crystal merchant was very happy with his newly found demand and customers. He also rewarded Santiago well. One day, when Santiago felt he had gathered enough money, he decided to get back to pursuing his dream, to find the treasure of the pyramids. The merchant told him of a caravan which was to depart for Egypt. Soon Santiago got ready and set off to get himself a spot in the caravan. With a little trouble, he finds a way into the caravan, and there he meets an Englishman who was evidently different from the others. They spoke to each other and started sharing their own purpose to be at Egypt. Both of them shared books and were the only two members from Europe there. The Englishman peculiarly recognized the two stones given to him by the old man at the plaza. He called them by their name, Umim and Thorim. The boy gets reminded of his interaction with the old man at the plaza and also about the language of the universe that he seemed to be slowly understanding. As both of them immerse deeper into conversation, slowly the man talks about an alchemist who lived for more than 200 years, was there at an oasis around the area, and he was going to look for him. Santiago also reveals to him the dream he had been having. The war. In the sand and the dunes, rumors that just flew. The rumors of a tribal war was circulating around the caravan. The other travelers grew anxious, and the caravan leader soon announced taking shelter in an oasis nearby. The Englishman was rather happy, as he knew that the alchemist resided there. He now had the chance to meet Alchemist and fulfill his dream. Meanwhile, Santiago was far from his destination. But right at that oasis, Santiago meets Fatima, the woman that takes his heart in a moment. He could smell in her the very scent that he had gotten at the beginning of the journey back in Andalusia. He presumed that the scent he was getting was of the desert. But he now realized what the gentle weave was about. He had started picking up on the language of the universe, and he reminisces the words spoken by the old man he had met. The saying goes that a person truly desires anything, it causes a surge in the soul of the universe. And when the whole universe conspires together to get it to you, but you must also work towards it in the same relentless manner. He thought of plans settling down and thought of letting his dreams go in vain. Santiago asked for Fatima's hand in terms of matrimony, and his offer was accepted. But Fatima wanted him to pursue his dream. She pushed him, and that final push gave him the strength to set out. The Englishman met the Alchemist and was overjoyed at first. Then Alchemist gave him an ultimatum. He asked the Englishman to try and change lead to gold himself. This brought the Englishman's energy down. He was lost at first. Then he got a furnace to start off with the task given to him. By now, the alchemist and the boy had started off for the pyramids. But they got robbed and hassled several times. Santiago was left with no money. The alchemist took some metal and turned it into some gold and gave some to Santiago. From here on, Santiago started onwards to the pyramids, and he reached to the pyramids soon. Santiago was tired and exhausted and was just looking for his treasure. After all the effort he had put in, he really wanted to get back something from all these hardships. At the pyramids, often what we look for is right in front of our eyes. Santiago was desperately looking for his treasure. While doing so, he runs into some robbers of the area. They again take away Santiago's remaining gold. Santiago was tired and tensed, and he muttered everything about his dream and his treasure. For a while, the whole group was silent. Then a man among them calls out aggressively. He called Santiago an idiot as he was blindly following a dream. While venting out about the man's own dream, something miraculous happens. The man says that if he would have followed his dream, he would be going to abandoned church in Andalusia, where there was supposedly a treasure under a sycamore tree. Santiago, being a herder, quickly picked up on the hint. He let the man leave with the money. He went back and visited the dilapidated church where he would take shelter along with his sheep. And right under the old fallen sycamore was a pot full of treasures. Santiago realizes that the real treasure was the journey that led him here. He also goes back and marries Fatima. The story. This story is an example of sheer persistence. The author has used several metaphors to impersonate the human will to grow and to surpass their own capabilities. The language of the universe can be interpreted in several ways. From several perspectives, it can be called understanding the ways of the world. Coelho's storytelling is marvelous, and the visual image of the scenarios can be drawn mentally. Eventually, in the end, the story ends merrily, where Santiago turns out to be successful by following his dream. Similarly, here are a few traits that can be observed in Santiago's character. Santiago was persistent. Most importantly, he did not give up even when hardships popped up. Santiago had a curious nature and knowledge-seeking aptitude, and that is perhaps why he could take the leap from being a shepherd to a traveler looking for treasures. Santiago always wanted to travel. That shows his tolerance to all sorts of people, not only because he wanted to be a part of their space, but because he was curious. Santiago had the courage to stand up to his father when he took the decision of roaming the plains like a herder. The story breaks all this down and passes the basic message. Believe in your dream and just walk towards it. Fear of suffering is worse than the suffering itself. If you have enjoyed the video, please like it, share it. If you are new to our channel, subscribe it. Hit the bell icon to get the notifications for our upcoming videos. If you have any query, comment in the comment box. To know more about the career prospects in orthopedic implant industry, click the link given below in the description. Thank you. See you in our next video.